All right, well, it's another quick turnaround for our guy, James Prescott, coming up live from the Masonic Temple on May 17th. James, so good to talk to you, man. How you doing coming into another matchup?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling excited. I think it's going to be really nice going against another 0-0 guy because not knowing anything about it gives me an opportunity to work on myself and find holes in my game that I wouldn't have previously looked at if I had had tape to watch.
I think one thing that's so interesting about this one is obviously not an MMA bout. You're going to be going over to kickboxing. What made you make that transition? Is there anything that specifically kind of motivated you to do that?
So I think that it's clear that I can grapple, I can wrestle with anybody, and I want to force myself to grow and evolve and really pursue excelling or pursue excellence in the sport. I don't want to just be someone that grapples and does two or three pro fights and then loses all of them and can't strike. So I want to grow. I'm excited for adversity, and I think that's something I've taken into my heart really since the first fight.
When do you think you identified that you wanted to inflate your striking abilities? And was that specifically why you took this, or have you been thinking about this for a long time?
So this last fight, I was looking to kickbox a little bit more than we got a chance to. It just kind of exploded with the grappling right away and went from there. Um, but since I started, I know that striking is something that I want to pursue harder than anything else because I do have that wrestling background. Um, so it was something that just came naturally to work on the thing that makes me the most uncomfortable. And when you have guys like Emin Garcia, Cole Faust, Joe Rodriguez, Mark Gonzalez, Mason Moyes, Brandan, there's 100 guys. I'm skipping three-quarters of them. But when you have guys like that punching you every day, you think, man, I should probably get better at that.
I bet the inverse is there as well in terms of your wrestling abilities. You've been sensational as an amateur already now,
Thank you.
up to 3-1. Got that March win. How was that against Santiago Izucar? How did you feel in there?
It was interesting. It was absolutely not how I saw it going. I thought it was going to be a longer kickboxing lead up, and then I would initiate the wrestling. But he came out to wrestle, and I don't know if that was the most solid game plan, but it was a game plan, and it was clear that he followed it. It just didn't turn out his way, unfortunately. But everybody has fights like that where it just doesn't work out. I had one against Micah Murdoch where I thought I was just going to come out. It's going to be easy, highlight reel finish, and it didn't work out that way. It was clear that I wasn't ready, and he was.
It's so interesting talking about Micah Murdoch. I want to go back to the Santiago Izucar fight in a second, but it's very interesting with Micah Murdoch because at that point you were 1-0 coming off of a very dominant finish in which you looked like a boogeyman. You still are, but Micah Murdoch was able to equalize it a little bit.
Yeah,
Was that why you thought maybe you were going to go in there and it was going to be easier than it was? And do you think that was a good learning curve for you?
absolutely. I remember there was a job I had a long time ago where we read a book about mindset by Carol Dweck called Mindset, and I've taken that into my heart for a long time into growth and development. And I thought it was going to be an easy finish, no problems. He's 1-0, I'm 1-0. We're just going to go out there. I'm going to run at him, and it's going to work out for me. Um, it didn't go that way because I had been slacking in the training. I'd been just not taking the absolute gamble that every fight is like a gamble. And I thought, oh, I'm just doing the right things. It'll be pretty straightforward. I'll do what I normally do in the gym, and it'll work out. But yeah, he caught me in a pretty brilliant triangle setup, and that's how it goes. But that's the part of the game that I like is you're never comfortable. You're never sitting there happy, quiet. Like the one fight I lost was due to wrestling. It wasn't due to striking. It was due to wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and that's where I've shown the most dominance in other fights. So it's the coin turns, the coin flips either way, but it flips.
That makes me so curious. Was that kind of your mindset going into fight number one as well, that you were going to run through this guy? Or was it, I'm nervous, now I got this win, now I'm confident, and then back down to a little bit more of a level head?
I don't even know if I meant run through him. I meant like physically run at him and just punch him. Like, so that was kind of the game plan going into fight one and fight two. Fight one worked out so good. I was like, oh, I'm going to do it again. And it's interesting to see how the flip side of that works. Like with Santiago Isacar, it was a very similar fight to my fight with Micah Murdoch, where he ran at me and then got stuck in his tricky jiu-jitsu spot. So I hope that it helps him come out of it and grow the same way it helped me grow out of it.
Was it nice to handle Santiago Izucara the way in which you did because of Vincent Vanisi and what had happened in November? And kind of coupled with that, was it nice to have Vince who was able to kind of give you some pointers as to how he feels during competition in the cage?
Absolutely. I think that it was nice to settle it for the gym. It wasn't so much a personal thing, but it was we take pride in our gym, and Aldo puts our name on everything, and he puts his name on us, so we need to go out there and succeed. And I think it was exciting to uh have higher stakes if that was possible. Like if you're able to raise the stakes even more, then that's my mouth's watering. Like you can get a little bit of personal teeth in the game, that I'm ready to go. And it was nice. I mean, that was pretty much my ideal fight from start to finish. Like I'd like to get out there and get a 30-second win every time, but I've shown with Harrison Chandler I'm ready to go to decisions whenever.
Sure.
Got the cardio to back it up.
You had a lot of early stoppages and things like that, but with Harrison Chandler, you had to grind that out for a full 12 minutes or
Yeah.
9 minutes. I apologize.
And I think with him being a debuter, it's always hard to know what skills they're bringing into it. Just like this next fight, and he obviously had more of a jiu-jitsu background. He was able to handle some of my submission attempts pretty well. And talking to him after, he's a great guy, but he was prepared a lot more than anybody else that fought, I think. And it's just a weird, weird situation where it's his first fight and he showed so much maturity in the game. Definitely good tests, but it wasn't anything that I'm not prepared to do again.
I would have loved to ask you this after the fact when you got that win a couple of months ago, although we're no longer doing post fight interviews on the prelims
Yeah.
just to speed up the process a little bit for the
Yeah.
fans. But you're now a 3-1 amateur. You've beaten some good guys. You've got Micah Murdoch, who you haven't been able to finish, obviously, given the way in which that matchup went. But what do you want? Is there any sort of an amateur title in the near future for you? Have there been rumblings of that, or what is your kind of idea of what you?
We'll see. The promotions communicated a little bit of interest on their end. I'm obviously interested to pursue this as far as I can, but really they need to talk to Aldo. He's the guy, and that's whatever he says I'm going to do, 100%.
When did you get to One Hit MMA?
I got there January 2024, so about 2 months before I signed my first fight with Maxwell Krieger.
Very interesting. So you haven't been in the gym for as long as a lot of these guys who have been able to produce what you've been able to produce in that cage. What's
No,
it feel like? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I haven't been there as long, but I'm there 11 times a week working out. I'm there every day, 2 times a day most days. So I mean, it's something that I've grown to accept that community and really play a role in part of that community with Mark Mason, Ammon Cole, those guys in there. It's the whole ecosystem of knowledge, and I think a couple of the new things I've added are wrestling with Teague Vigil, Dietrich Jessup. Those guys, they've helped me elevate my game a lot, and it's just I think with the right combination of like protein, nicotine, caffeine, and sauerkraut, you can do a lot of stuff. You can do a lot more than you think. I got some right here. I'm gassed up.
I love that. You have become an absolute workhorse. I love hearing that you're training 11 times a week. I think that is sensational. And obviously, that is the reason for what you've been able to do inside competition. That being said, James, what does a schedule look like for you? Like Monday to Sunday, what days are you in the gym twice a week? What days are you maybe taking a rest? How's your body holding up?
So the rest day is Sunday. I just work out one time that day by myself. And then Monday I'm there twice or 2 classes. Uh, Tuesday 2 classes. Wednesday 1 class. Thursday 2 classes. Um, Friday 1 class. Saturday. Now it just added a new one, so now we're up to 11 with the two there. And I work in aerospace in one of the larger aerospace manufacturing firms in Davis County. So it balances really well. Luckily, I have a 5'6" private chef I'm married to, and she helps me with my two sons, James and Atlas, and meal prepping and taking care of things at home.
Where does the motivation come to be training as much as you have?
I mean, I'm James Prescott the sixth. I'm raising James Prescott the seventh, Atlas O'Brien. You can't name your kids after you and name another one after a Greek Titan without trying to do some incredible things. I think it'd be foolhardy to not chase what I love doing.
Why do you love it?
I don't know. I think it harkens back to the warrior spirit. I mean, I eat sauerkraut every day. It reminds me of my grandfather who came here on a boat from Germany, and he didn't have anything, and now I have all this, and I'm not going to go chase what I want to do. Like, it's crazy thinking that I wouldn't go do the thing I want to do the most with all this opportunity around me.
What was the genesis of you deciding to train and wanting to get in competition? Obviously, you had that wrestling backdrop, so I'm curious how that all came to be.
Yeah, so my wrestling, high school wrestling career went pretty well, but I would definitely say I never was committed to it the same way I am now. It took a lot of adversity to get through that. So it fizzled out due to a pretty serious neck injury, which is now completely gone. But I took a lot of time off thinking it was done forever, and I was 315 pounds, making some really questionable decisions and wasting my life. And then I realized, like, what if I just did push-ups instead? Like, how different would my life be if instead of wasting my time, I did push-ups? What if instead of push-ups, I went to the gym? What if instead of going to the weightlifting gym, I went to one hit? Those guys are the best, aren't they? And I found Aldo, I found Gustavo, and it just spiraled into it did an upward spiral into where we're at now. It's going great.
How did you hear about One Hit, knowing that they were one of the best gyms in the state?
So because I'm from California originally, I didn't have any personal connections to like any one gym or the other. So I looked at every gym from Cache Valley MMA all the way down to Agema and looked at who they were producing and what they were producing and uh, how they how they were attracted to the game as far as the local scene goes. And I happens to be that the best one was 7 minutes from my house. So yeah, it's just it's worked out. Luckily, it's just some all crazy cosmic divine plan to get me in there with Aldo, and it's paying off.
It's incredible the weight loss in which you've had. I've heard about it, but I've never been able to talk to you about it. Were you 315 coming into the gym in January of 2024?
No, I
Okay.
was 315 about 6 years ago,
Okay.
um, but I was solid 225 when I first walked in the gym. If I go back and talk to that guy, I'd tell him to go anyways. If I could talk to anybody right now, I'd tell him to go to one hit anyways. But uh, yeah, it was a long journey because I had that neck injury. I was convinced I really couldn't do anything
Yeah.
physical, and I like to eat. So it was an easy way up and a hard way down. But I don't know. I love cutting weight, so it kind of worked out. Like the wrestling stuff made me love looking at the scale and seeing a good number. It's just like a weird masochistic thing, but now it's like I'm sitting there cutting weight. I'm watching food videos. I love making it harder on myself just for kicks. It's a weird thing. You ask Mason about it, he'll tell you.
Why is that? I think you are one of one in that world, James.
I don't know. It just the sweat comes and I do all my top secret prep work and it's exciting knowing that I'm gonna get to compete again and show my family exactly what they're sacrificing for, show myself what I'm sacrificing for. And I mean overall, uh in a violent sport like this, it's as close as you can get to real violence without being, illegal or overly dangerous. And I think for hundreds or thousands of years, there's never been a good outlet for it. But now we kind of have it figured out where we can go do what people want to do to each other for 9 minutes at a time and then shake hands and love each other after. It's pretty incredible.
You talked about family sacrifice. I know you just had your second child relatively recent. Congratulations on that.
Thank
How
you.
does being a dad change your perspective in terms of how you need to perform?
I don't think I'd be able to do it the same way if it wasn't for the commitments I have at home.
Yeah.
they hold me accountable to going to the gym and trying to make this work. It it wouldn't be as fulfilling to go out and succeed if I didn't have anybody behind me to succeed for. Especially my wife's family's all behind me, a bunch of wiggles running around and chasing me to every show that they can make. It's been an incredible thing, especially with my family in my corner as well. It's been cool watching my sons grow and develop. And I mean, I spend like when I'm off at home, I spend all day wrestling still with my son. So it's it's crazy. I've got one that can't wrestle yet, but the other one should be starting this year, and he is ready. He spends all day just sneaking up on me and taking me down, punching me in the head. That's kind of where it goes.
How old is your oldest?
My oldest is 2.5, almost 3.
Okay.
And then I got a 4-month old born in December, just after that last Harrison Chandler fight.
Has your two almost 3-year old been able to come to any of the shows? Has he been able to watch anything that you do? Does
Yeah.
he understand yet what's going on when dad's in the cage?
He calls it all wrestling, but that's fine with me. I don't know what he's going to see when he goes out and does his own wrestling, but he's going to see something very different. But yeah, he gets excited. I love seeing Zach, especially bring his whole family to the fights. I thought, man, I should have my kids there with me. And it's been really cool seeing them or seeing my older one get excited about, oh, that's my dad. And then he'll see it on the TV or whatever. And it's just fun to see him light up. I can't wait to see, maybe one day we'll be fighting on the TV for real, for real. And
Sure.
he'll get to see his dad fight, get to see him on TV. That'd be sweet.
Are you hoping to instill wrestling? It seems as though you are for the future and what they do. I know that's something that you came from.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm definitely gonna push the wrestling because what else am I gonna show them really? um, but whatever it is, they got to do it really well. And I mean, I know how to make wrestlers and I know how to wrestle, but other than that, they've got to figure it out. So it's uh, it's been really fulfilling. I also in December I finished my MBA, and I think that was one thing that helped me justify uh, fighting because I was able to still achieve professional success alongside this. Being that I'm older and I have commitments, I need to still feed my family while I'm making this thing work. But I'd like to show them one day that they can do way more than they thought they could, especially when you're 315 pounds and 25 sitting on a couch. I could do that. They should go do it.
I hope this doesn't put you in an awkward spot, but I'm so impressed with this story that I've learned of you and what you've been able to
Thank you.
accomplish from where you were 6 years ago to now and what you're doing. Probably that guy 6 years ago doesn't believe what you're doing now.
Yeah,
Are you
I think
proud of the journey you've been on?
absolutely. I think it's been more fulfilling than anything I've ever done in my life to raise these children, to do these fights, and grow as a person. I hope that whatever I leave behind just teaches people to chase adversity and growth and failure and success after all that.
Last question from me. We kind of talked about it at the jump. What do you make of Tate and Merrill in your kickboxing debut live on May 17th?
I don't know much about him. I'm really excited because I've been able to work on some things on my own game, but I don't know if he's left-handed, right-handed. I don't know if he's 5'11 or 6'4. I know he looks lean and explosive. So we're gonna have to roll with that and just figure out a game plan. I don't know what fighting in the boxing ring is gonna be like, but we're gonna have to find a plan and roll with that. It's gonna be a good experience for me all around, I think.
Quick follow up to that. I'm
Yes.
sorry. That's I said last question.
Yeah. Oh,
That is an interesting aspect to this. You're the first guy I've been able to interview that's going to be competing in that ring.
yeah.
How are you guys simulating that in the gym?
So we do have access to a boxing ring, and I'm going to try to get some rounds in there, just to feel it out. But we're I'm hoping to stand in the middle and bang. Tell you what, I want to get this going right in the middle, and if anybody's gonna be on the ropes, I don't want it to be me. So we'll see. But I don't want to find out if you can fall through them very easy. We'll see.
Cannot wait for it. James Prescott
Thank you.
live from the Masonic Temple, May 17th. Looking forward to it. James, thank you so much.
Thank you, Blake.